We were going to be talking about the Iran war. And the reason that I was so keen to get to you guys this morning, and I don't usually do a Saturday morning live. The reason I was so keen to get to you is because literally just did a show last night with Dean Blundell when I said a war could be used as an excuse to actually manipulate the midterms based on stolen election conspiracy theories. And Donald Trump truth this morning that Iran manipulated or tried to manipulate the 2020 election. You know, I put out I thought was a pretty funny post on X and Blue Sky where I said, listen, I feel like I'm the, ultimate MAGA whisperer. I might be the most, I think accomplished in the world when it comes to J6 conspiracy theories, but I would love to be on the actual live stream with Dean and Ken because they're going to bring up some things. So I wanted to say really quick, there's a few things that you need to see as you're going forth with the Iran war. Number one, the first reason that he's bombing Iran. A lot of people want to say the Epstein files. I think those priorities have flipped. I think the first priority is actually about starting to try to find a rationalization through conspiracy theories and propaganda to make the 2026 midterms and into the 2028 general into a national emergency, which if anybody watched last night with my book, The Breach, right there, right? And with chapters 10 and 11, which I gave for free on my Substack, I think that you probably need to look at that, put it into AI and query that, and you're going to see this fantastic sort of timeline that can allow you to predict what's going to happen in the midterms in 2028. It's so funny because a friend of mine, Tim Price, he might be on the other pod because people thought I was going to be there. He actually put it into AI, broke down everything, and it said eerily prescient. And that's because past performance is indicative of future performance. Number two, Epstein files. I think that's actually in the stack, in the rack and stack. Number three are donor support, whether it's oil refinement or some other thing, right, that we're not seeing as far as business interests in the region, maybe even with countries like Russia. Again, that's pure speculation on my point, but it does go back to what they've done in the past. So I wanted you guys to take a look at that and see what happens downstream with Russia's response to Iran and China's response to Iran. And there's some other things that really are odd, about the chaos of foreign policy with Iran actually firing missiles into UAE and Saudi Arabia, also hitting our base in Bahrain. So there's some odd machinations by Iran, which isn't that brilliant either. So you're looking at chaos. And when you have chaos foreign policy, we don't know what that actual cascading effect is because there's no clear path or why we did this. So those are three or four things, but there's also this other thing that's been brewing with me, and it's that the lies about the obliteration of Iran's nuclear capacity is just something that I don't know if the media is really pushing forward. But I think there's a lot of fear to call out that there's literally no reason for this war at this point. And listen, I can't stand the mullahs. I mean, the issue that you're going to have, right, are people like me who had to actually go against Iran. And I'm going to tell you really quickly what my past is. I worked in the Counter IED Operations Integration Cell, the COIC, back in 2006, 2007. I actually started the signal intelligence portion of that to go after roadside bomb makers. The biggest resupply into Iraq was from Iran, from Soleimani and his group, which was killed in 2020 while I was in Congress. So I have this brewing hate for Iran based on the fact that they flooded the field with IED materiel to kill American soldiers. And as you know, I'm prior Air Force and I've done some things. So again, I despise the mullahs. I despise Iran as far as their government structure. And who they are, especially the IRGC, and also their funding, right, of Shia militia groups, SMGs, into Iraq, and their funding around the world, if you're looking at, especially with the countries around Israel. So that's why I wanted to talk about Israel also. As somebody who's always tried to support democracies around the world, it's pretty evident that Israel has Trump by the short hairs. And I'm not quite sure why we're reacting to Israel only. And if we did obliterate their nuclear stockpile or obliterate their ability, right, to build nuclear weapons, why are we there? Also, you have this other thing. I was in Congress. What happened to our Article 1 powers? If he says we're at war, Congress should be up in arms right now saying, well, we did not declare war. But of course, Congress has abdicated its power with a GOP majority and those that are sycophants or bootlickers to Trump. So I know I just I just dropped a right on everybody on a Saturday morning, but I don't know what else to do. And I feel like even yesterday, we just had a really tough time. Um, when I was going over chapter 10 and 11 of my book, and when I said there's going to be a war or he's going to look at a country to blame besides China, he has to have some kind of interconnectivity for foreign interference to utilize the Insurrection Act or martial law or another executive order to give a more general sweeping powers to nationalize our elections. And the fact that this happened today and he tweeted that or posted that on Truth Social, I got to tell you guys, past performance is indicative of future performance. Pay attention. This is not about the Iranian mullahs. This is about domestic politics only. And we're putting troops in harm's way for fantasy and conspiracies. And it's that simple. And the hope that Trump can somehow hold on to power with MAGA through 2026 and through 2028, which I think these executive orders are really more primed towards his next presidential run, and then trying to build a rationalization for a third run outside of constitutional limits, which is always a possibility. So thank you guys. Hope you had a good time. And now I'm going to try my best to see if I can get onto another live. So thank you guys.